Let me tell you a secret that 99% of men will never understand. The reason she's losing interest, the reason she's ignoring your texts, the reason she's pulling away, it's not because she doesn't love you. It's because you're doing things you don't even realize. Things that silently kill her attraction, erase her respect, and push her closer to someone else. Listen carefully. If you keep making these 9 mistakes, you'll never get her back. But if you understand them, you won't just keep her attention. You'll become the man she can't stop chasing. This isn't theory. This is raw psychology. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the smartest men never do these 9 things for women, and why women secretly crave men who live by these rules. If you're tired of being ignored, if you're done being taken for granted, pay very close attention, because what I'm about to reveal can change everything. 1. Smart men never chase validation. Let me paint you a picture. It's a Friday night in New York City. The streets are buzzing, lights glowing, and there's this guy, Ethan, 28 years old, smart, ambitious, the kind of man who has his life together. One evening, he meets Sophia, a stunning woman from London, during a friend's rooftop party. She laughs at his jokes, touches his arm, and for a moment, Ethan feels that spark. He goes home excited, convinced he's met someone special. So the next day he texts her, "Hey, last night was fun. Would love to grab coffee sometime." She replies after 2 hours, "Yeah, maybe." Ethan smiles. He's hooked. But here's where it all goes wrong. He starts chasing validation. He texts her every morning, "Good morning, beautiful." He likes all her Instagram photos. He replies instantly to her messages. And whenever she's online, he's online. At first, Sophia enjoys the attention. But slowly, her replies get shorter. Her energy fades. She starts posting stories out with friends but never invites him. Sound familiar? Here's why this happens. Psychology explains it perfectly. When a man seeks constant validation, he flips the power dynamic without even realizing it. Instead of being the prize, he becomes the pursuer. Instead of leading, he starts auditioning for her approval. And women, especially confident women in cities like New York, Los Angeles, London, Toronto, subconsciously pick up on this shift. Because here's the hard truth. Attention is attractive when it's rare, but when it's constant, it loses value. A stoic, grounded man operates differently. He doesn't bombard her with compliments. He doesn't chase every reply. He understands his worth, and he knows this unshakable truth. A woman values your attention more when it's earned, not when it's given away for free. When you're confident in who you are, you don't chase validation. You create it. You let your actions, your energy, your presence, and your mission speak louder than your words. And here's the secret. The less you seek approval, the more attractive you become. Because deep down, women respect men who respect themselves first. They want a man who's secure, not a man who's desperate. A man who's focused on his purpose, not glued to his phone waiting for a text. Stop chasing, start leading. That's what separates smart men from everyone else. 2. Smart men never sacrifice self-respect. Let me tell you about Daniel, a 32-year-old successful architect in Los Angeles. Great job, great apartment, great life. Until he met Chloe, a stunning actress from Miami. At first, it was perfect. She admired his ambition. He admired her charm. They spent hours talking, laughing, dreaming. But slowly, Daniel started making small sacrifices. Sacrifices he didn't even notice. He'd cancel gym sessions just to be available when she called. He skipped important business meetings to drive across the city for her last-minute plans. When she crossed his boundaries, jokingly belittling his career in front of friends, he stayed quiet, afraid to upset her. Sound familiar? Here's the psychological truth most men don't realize. The moment you sacrifice your self-respect to keep someone, you've already started losing them. Because respect and love are not the same thing. A woman can like you. She can even love you deeply. But if she doesn't respect you, she will never value you. A stoic man understands this. He knows where his boundaries are, and he protects them like his life depends on it. When Chloe mocked Daniel in front of her friends, he could have calmly said, "Hey, I don't appreciate being spoken to like that." Not out of anger, not to create drama, but to set a clear boundary. Smart men understand that self-respect isn't negotiable. They don't bend their values for temporary affection. They don't become yes men just to avoid conflict. Because here's the paradox women won't tell you. They respect men more when those men are willing to walk away rather than betray themselves. If you have to lose yourself to keep her, you've already lost her. Daniel eventually learned this lesson the hard way. When he finally stopped sacrificing his boundaries, when he started putting his mission and mental peace first, Chloe began respecting him again. And here's the reality. The modern dating world, especially in cities like Los Angeles, Miami, Toronto, London, rewards men who know their value. Women are drawn to men who are rooted, men who are grounded, men who can love deeply without ever abandoning themselves. Respect yourself first. Everything else follows. 3. Smart men never overinvest emotionally. Let me tell you about Ethan, a 29-year-old software engineer from San Francisco. On paper, he had it all: a 6-figure salary, a great apartment overlooking the bay, and the kind of charisma people notice the moment he walks into a room. Then he met Jessica. From the very first date, Ethan was hooked. He thought she was the one. He started texting her good morning and good night every single day. He skipped gym sessions just to be available when she called. He bought expensive gifts even before they were officially dating. At first, Jessica seemed excited. She loved the attention. She responded with emojis, late-night calls, and little voice notes. But 2 months in, something changed. Her replies got shorter. Her calls became less frequent. She started canceling plans last minute, saying she was too busy. Ethan panicked. He thought, maybe if I give her even more love, she'll come back. So he doubled down. More texts, more gifts, more attention. But instead of getting closer, she pulled away completely. Here's the harsh truth most men don't want to hear. When you overinvest emotionally, you kill attraction. It's not about love. It's about perception. In her subconscious mind, when you give everything without her having to earn it, you send a silent message. I don't have options. I need you more than you need me. And here's the psychology behind it. Humans value scarcity. If something is always available, we subconsciously assume it has less value. Think about it. If a limited edition Rolex is sold everywhere on every corner in Los Angeles, would people still pay $15,000 for it? Of course not. Scarcity creates value. The same rule applies to relationships. Stoic men know this. They never overinvest emotionally before a woman earns it. They give enough to build connection, but they never give their entire emotional world away. Because here's the ultimate rule. A woman can love you deeply, but she will only respect you if you respect yourself first. Respect comes from boundaries. Boundaries come from self-worth. If you make her the center of your universe, she'll slowly start looking elsewhere. Not necessarily for another man, but for a challenge, something mysterious, someone she feels she has to earn. So instead of showering her with endless attention, focus on your purpose, your passion, and your personal growth. Because the truth is simple. When you stop chasing emotional validation, you become the validation. 4. Smart men never beg for time or attention. Picture this scenario. It's a Friday night in New York City. You've planned a dinner date at this cozy rooftop spot in Manhattan. You've been looking forward to it all week. You text her, "Hey, are we still on for tonight?" No reply. An hour passes. 2 hours. Still nothing. You open Instagram, and there she is, and posting stories, clinking champagne glasses with her friends in Soho. Your stomach drops. Your chest tightens. You start wondering, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? So you send another message. "Hey, everything okay?" Still nothing. Here's the mistake most men make at this moment. They panic. They double text. They call multiple times. They over-explain. "I just wanted to make sure you're safe. I was really looking forward to tonight." But let me hit you with a hard truth. The moment you start begging for attention, you lose respect. It's not about the text. It's about energy. Smart men, stoic, grounded men match energy. If she invests, they invest. If she pulls back, they don't chase. Not because they're playing games, but because they understand this simple rule. Attention freely given is rarely valued. Think about it. When someone's time is scarce, we automatically assume they're valuable. High-status men understand this deeply. Do you think Ryan, a hedge fund manager in London, spends his nights begging for replies? No. He's too focused on his business deals, gym sessions, and personal growth. Ironically, this creates attraction. Because when a woman sees that your world doesn't stop spinning when she goes quiet, she starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Is he talking to someone else? Why does he seem so unfazed? That mystery, that sense of self-respect, is magnetic. Smart men don't play the numbers game. They're not sitting there with a stopwatch counting minutes until she replies. They understand this. Your time is valuable, act like it. If she flakes, they move on. If she cancels plans repeatedly, they stop making them. If she treats their time carelessly, they invest it elsewhere, in their purpose, their passions, and women who genuinely appreciate them. Because here's the cold reality. The more you beg, the less she values you. And when you don't beg, that's when you become the prize. 5. Smart men never try to buy love. Let me tell you a story about Daniel, a 32-year-old entrepreneur from Los Angeles. Daniel had built a multi-million-dollar startup, drove a Porsche 911, and lived in a high-rise apartment in downtown LA. He met Sophie, a stunning model from Miami, during a networking event. Her beauty was breathtaking, ocean blue eyes, perfect smile, and the kind of energy that turns heads the moment she walks in. Daniel wanted her badly, so he did what many men with money do. He tried to buy her love. First, it was expensive dinners at Nobu Malibu. Then it became designer bags, luxury perfumes, and weekend trips to Hawaii. He showered her with gifts, thinking, if I give her everything, she'll see how much I care. At first, Sophie seemed thrilled. Her Instagram stories were filled with champagne glasses, beach selfies, and blessed captions. Daniel thought he was winning. But 3 months later, she was gone. No goodbye, no explanation, just a text. I think we're looking for different things. Here's the painful truth. You can't buy genuine attraction. You can only rent it. When a man tries to compensate with money, gifts, or expensive gestures, he creates a transactional dynamic. In Sophie's subconscious, Daniel wasn't the man she desired, and he was just a provider. And providers are replaceable. This isn't about being cheap. It's about understanding value dynamics. Here's the psychology. Women are biologically wired to respect strength, leadership, and confidence, and not just financial security. When you use money as your primary tool of attraction, you're sending a silent message. I don't believe my personality, presence, or masculinity are enough. And once she senses that insecurity, attraction dies. Stoic men understand this deeply. They know that generosity is attractive, but desperation is not. They give because they want to, not because they're trying to buy affection. They invest emotionally, not just financially. Because here's the ultimate truth. If she falls in love with your lifestyle, she'll leave the moment someone offers her a better one. But if she falls in love with your character, she'll stay even when you have nothing. Focus on being the man whose energy, mindset, and presence are valuable. Because money might get her attention, but masculine self-respect keeps her loyalty. 6. Smart men never over-explain themselves. Here's a situation every man has faced at some point. You text her, she doesn't reply for hours. When she finally does, she says, "Sorry, I was busy." You want to sound understanding, so you reply with, "Oh, no worries. I was just worried something happened. I had my phone on me all day checking for your text, but I know you're super busy. By the way, I had lunch at that Italian place we talked about. And after that, I went to the gym, then grabbed coffee with Mark." Stop. This is where most men go wrong. By over-explaining, you're unconsciously signaling neediness. You're teaching her that your emotional state depends on her attention. Let me give you an example of Jason, a marketing director from London. Jason was dating Emily, a gorgeous lawyer from Chelsea. One evening, she canceled plans last minute. Jason replied with a 500-word essay explaining how much he missed her, how excited he was, and how disappointed he felt. Emily read it and never replied. Why? Because over-explaining kills mystery. Here's the Stoic rule you need to remember. Men who control their words control the frame. High-value men don't justify their existence. They don't overshare details just to win approval. They state, they don't convince. If a plan changes, they simply say, "Got it, let me know when you're free." That's it. No emotional paragraphs, no justifications, no chasing. Here's the psychology behind it. Humans are drawn to mystery. When someone doesn't reveal everything, our brain craves answers. But when you overshare, you kill that curiosity instantly. Stoic men leave gaps in the conversation on purpose. They understand this. The less you explain, the more powerful your presence becomes. So the next time you feel the urge to over-justify, over-text, or overshare, pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, am I doing this to connect or to seek validation? If it's the latter, stay silent. Because silence, my friend, is sometimes the loudest statement you can make. 7 smart men never lose their masculine frame. This is one of the biggest secrets most men never understand. A woman can love you deeply, but the moment you lose your masculine frame, attraction dies. Let me explain. Masculine frame isn't about being aggressive or controlling. It's about being grounded, centered, and unshakable. Imagine Michael, a 35-year-old architect in Chicago. He was dating Rachel, a fitness trainer. At first, Michael was calm, confident, and focused on his work. Rachel admired his ambition and discipline, but over time he became too emotionally reactive. When Rachel got moody, he panicked. When she tested him, he got defensive. When she pulled away, he begged for reassurance. Slowly, Rachel lost respect for him. Why? Because he started behaving like she was the leader in the relationship, and women, by nature, are attracted to strong masculine energy, not emotional instability. Here's the rule. A woman will test your emotions to feel your strength. She'll disagree with you. She'll tease you. Sometimes she'll even create drama out of nothing. It's not because she's cruel. It's because deep down, she wants to feel your stability. If you stay calm, grounded, and unmoved, you pass the test. You show her, I'm solid. I don't get shaken easily. But if you get angry, defensive, or start arguing endlessly, you fail. And every time you fail, her attraction drops a little more. Stoic men never lose their frame. They remain the lighthouse in the storm. No matter how chaotic the situation gets, they radiate calm authority. Because here's the truth. Masculine energy creates safety. Safety creates desire. A man who's unshakable, who doesn't react emotionally, who moves through life with quiet confidence, becomes magnetic, not just to women, but to everyone. If you master this one principle, everything changes. You stop chasing validation. You stop begging for love. You stop fearing rejection. Because you finally realize you are the prize. 8. Smart men never compete for her attention. Let me paint you a picture. You're at a party. Music's loud, drinks are flowing. And across the room you see her. She's laughing, flipping her hair. And 3 other guys are already trying to impress her. Showing off cars, talking about crypto, flexing gym gains. What do? Most men panic. Their instinct? Join the competition. They start telling louder jokes, boasting about their income, exaggerating their achievements, anything to get noticed. But here's the truth. The moment you compete for her attention, you've already lost. Women are naturally drawn to leaders, not contestants. When you start fighting for her attention, you instantly position yourself as low value. I'll give you a real example. Alex, a 29-year-old software engineer from San Francisco, had a crush on Chloe, a stunning event planner. At a friend's rooftop party, 3 guys were already surrounding her, showing her their Instagram followers and bragging about their Tesla plaids. Alex did the opposite. He didn't walk up to her immediately. He stayed calm, had a drink, laughed with his friends, and acted as though he didn't even notice her. Guess who Chloe approached 20 minutes later? Alex. Why? Because scarcity creates value. When you don't chase, you signal abundance. Your body language says, I have options. I don't need to fight for yours. Here's the psychology. Humans instinctively respect high-status behavior. When you stay grounded, composed, and focused on your own vibe, women notice. But when you try too hard to impress, you accidentally communicate, you're above me, I need to win you. And once that dynamic is established, attraction dies. Stoic men don't compete. They understand that energy is everything. They focus on their presence, their confidence, and their purpose. Because here's the truth. The loudest man in the room is rarely the most powerful. Be the guy who speaks less but carries authority. Be the guy whose value is self-evident, not advertised. Be the guy who's comfortable walking away. When you carry yourself like a man who chooses, instead of begs to be chosen, everything changes. 9 smart men never let a woman define their worth. This one's deep, bro. Read carefully. So many men build their entire identity around how much attention they get from women. If she texts back, they feel confident. If she ignores them, they spiral into insecurity. This is the fastest path to emotional slavery. Let me tell you about Ryan, a 34-year-old stockbroker in New York. Ryan dated Samantha, a gorgeous fashion influencer. Everything seemed perfect, romantic trips, Candlelit dinners, hundreds of likes on their couple photos. But here's the problem. Ryan's self-worth was completely tied to her approval. When Samantha praised him, he felt amazing. When she criticized him, his entire mood collapsed. When she pulled away, he begged harder. Slowly, Samantha lost respect for him. Why? Because the moment you allow a woman to control your emotions, you've handed her the steering wheel to your life. Here's the brutal truth. A woman can love you deeply, but she'll never respect you if you don't respect yourself first. Stoic men know this. Their identity is built on their purpose, their values, and their discipline, not on someone else's opinion. This doesn't mean you ignore her feelings. It means you stop making her the center of your universe. Because when you do, two things happen. 1, you put pressure on her to constantly validate you. 2, you send the silent signal that you are incomplete without her. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness disguised as love. Here's the mindset shift. You are the prize. You bring value before the relationship. You choose her because she adds joy, not because she completes you. When you live this way, something powerful happens. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing rejection. And ironically, women become more drawn to you because confidence rooted in self-respect is magnetic. Conclusion. At the end of the day, Stoicism isn't about being cold. It's about being grounded. It's about knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will and won't accept. Because here's the truth. Women respect men who respect themselves first. So stop chasing. Stop overgiving. Stop losing yourself. Be the man who knows his value. And the world, including women, will recognize it too. With that said, thanks for watching. And until next time.